This is breaking news.
We are at the Harlem Center. Please sit down. And I'm just looking forward to hearing the remarks from Alicia and Rachel about what this means to families all across this region. But there are so many families that are struggling right now. No fault of their own. They didn't count on inflation. They didn't count on tariffs. Utility bills just seem to be never ending, going up and up and up. I just had some conversation with some folks this morning, and they just tell me how much the bills are. And groceries, you just look at it every single week and say, the prices are going up, and my paycheck is not. So it's frustrating. All I know is the governor of New York has one duty: protect her citizens and fight like hell to put money back in their pockets whenever I can. So as we hear from these New Yorkers struggling to make ends meet, young families right here in Harlem just shaking their heads, a senior in the Bronx making the choice, and this is not hyperbole, this is real, between that getting that medication filled to be able to buy the groceries they need for their families, or whether they can delay that heating bill another month. A teacher on Staten Island who's working just to pay the rent. And I live this too. A lot of people are struggling more than I did. We didn't know we didn't have a lot, but it's probably a good thing. My parents used to live in a trailer park and thought they were doing really well when their second child, me, came along and they could get a little apartment and squish us all in a place in the shadow of the steel plant where my dad worked. And we bought our clothes at used clothing stores, or my mom would put things on layaway. Do they still have layaway? Where, it's kind of embarrassing when you're a kid and you're going shopping and you have to walk past the regular checkouts with your mom and go over to layaway with your clothes for school or for Easter with your siblings, and know you're not going to see them for a few weeks, maybe a few months, until mom could pay it off. So, and food, family of 8, had a lot of Spam sandwiches and pancakes for dinner and tuna casseroles, which I know are still popular, but I didn't like them. But that's how a mom could stretch the budget to be able to feed a big family. So I knew also as a young mom starting out, and I had a job I loved, but I could not find childcare. It was just not available. When I worked in Washington on Capitol Hill, I left that job. My husband had been at a law firm and took a government job at half the wages because he wanted to be a prosecutor and defend people who were bullied and preyed upon. So we weren't starving, but I was that mom who had to have that shopping cart filled with the big oversized package of toilet paper and paper towels because it was cheaper to buy it that way, and the diapers and the formula. And just really hoping as I clenched my coupons in my hand that I could just make it all work. So those experiences never leave you. I mean, at the moment you're just happy, you're joyful, you're a young parent, you can handle anything. But I look back at families today, sometimes it's not a joyful experience because you just don't know how you're going to take care of your kids. And I think about my experience, I think about the experiences of New Yorkers today, and I just want to know what else we can do to help. It's that simple. So I go to the legislature, I go to the budget process with an idea of how we can do something, which is profoundly simple, but so impactful. And that is to put more money back in people's pockets by giving them a whole array of sources. So when you think about the prices of everything going up, and only seem like the wealthiest are getting further ahead, people living on the edge, they might go off the cliff. I said, affordability has to be the cornerstone of this budget. Affordability. Because as I said back in January, your family is my fight. And I'll fight and fight and fight to do whatever I can to give you that security that you deserve. And so our affordability agenda focuses on a lot of things. An inflation refund, what's that? It says that for the last few years, with the price of everything going up, the little kids' clothes and the diapers and your kids' backpacks and adults' prices, everything going up, all the things you need for work, we collected more in sales tax as a result, unanticipated revenue. I said, this can go into the state coffers, but why not give it back to the residents whose pockets it came out of? They paid more than they ever expected. That's the whole idea behind it, an inflation refund. And it's going to be upwards of $400 for families. We're going to give it back directly. No red tape, no hoops to jump through, just giving you that check when it comes time to be shopping for fall school clothes and supplies. And it's going to be $400 right here. That's what we're doing for families. Over 8 million families across New York will get this. So we're going to make it simple. We're going to make it happen. And this is for people in every corner of our state. And Alicia is a proud Harlem resident, a grandmother. She's got an adorable 2-year-old Austin. God bless you, Alicia. He is adorable, but I'm sure he's a challenge. And you know the cost. Yeah. Active little boy. And you know what it's like. You know, you've had to see your budget squeezed and how to make it work, but you're still a nonprofit leader devoted to strengthening your community and supporting young people and families. And I want to make sure that you know that a refund like this is for families like yours, that we see you and we value and all the people you represent and putting this money back in the pocket. But also it's not just getting started with the inflation refund checks. How about the lowest middle class tax rate in nearly 70 years, benefiting 8.3 million New Yorkers, saving $1 billion across the state. We got it done. Also for little ones like Austin, who's very expensive. He's outgrowing his clothes and sneakers all the time, I can tell. We're going to triple the child tax credit, $1,000 for families with a child under the age of 4, and boost the credit for school age, $500 for the older kids. And all across the state, free breakfasts and lunches in schools. Some communities have it, some don't. And that's $1,600 per child that you can save, not having to buy the extra groceries or having them get that extra money in their pocket every day. And we got that done. That is going to be a game changer for so many families. So when you add it all up, the inflation rebate, the tax cut, the free school lunches, the credits, that's nearly $5,000 back in families' pockets. That's real money. For every first responder, every retail worker, every teacher, the people who bind our community together, every senior on fixed income, parents working overtime to support their family, and every young person who wants to build their future here, because I want New York to be a place where people don't just get by, they get ahead. And that's what we're delivering with this budget. How can I fight for your family? How can I put more money back in your pockets? And that's what we're going to continue to do. We stepped up, we showed how to do it, and this is what I'm going to do right now. Make it official. Thank you. We got it done, everybody. We got it done. Let me turn it over to Alicia Barksdale and offer her an opportunity to tell us what it's like. Come on up.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. As you hear, my grandson's crying, so please excuse him. My name is Alicia Barksdale. I'm a West Harlem resident, and I'm also a glamour and a mom. When you see someone doing something for us, we don't know or appreciate it until it's done, and it was just done. So Governor Hochul knows how hard we are working as an average and low-income households, and how the residents of New York State's cost of living, from rent, mortgage, food, is too damn high. Excuse the expression. Everyone knows raising a family today is hard, costly, and not always easy. That's why it means so much for our governor to fight for us by helping us put more money back in our pockets. With the governor's efforts, New York State residents will have their first ever inflation refund checks, a check that will be coming in the fall. 8 million households across New York State in the fall will be benefiting from these checks. Putting a little more money in our pockets is always welcome. New York State residents are also going to get a tax cut to expand child tax credit. To add up, this is all in a good way. Governor Hochul, we appreciate you and getting us a little bit more money in our pockets and easier for us to buy food where they have price gouging in stores in low-income communities like mine. And we are so grateful and blessed to have you as our governor. Now I would like to introduce Rachel Lissy, and she also knows what it's like to raise a family in New York State. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me here this morning and for the opportunity to speak with you all. I should start by saying that my husband and I and my 2 kids, my mother-in-law, we all live together, and I know that we're very lucky. We have stable income. We both work in fields that we love. And at the same time, in the past couple of years, it's felt more and more like I'm on this treadmill that keeps getting faster. And it doesn't matter how hard I work, how much we save, how disciplined we are, the sort of unexpected costs and the expected costs like childcare, the rising cost of heating, the cost of the grocery bills. I feel like I'm just trying to scramble to stay on. And in that context, it is so powerful and meaningful to know that Governor Hochul has recognized this issue, that feels seen, to recognize this challenge for families like mine, and also that she is working to slow this treadmill down, right? To be able to allow for my family to live where we live, to save, to be able to potentially, hopefully, own a home someday. And so I'm going to be really excited to get this check, and every little bit counts right now in this context. So it's so powerful to know that we have leaders like Governor Hochul who are fighting on our behalf, and recognizing that if you have 2 parents working hard to support their kids, I want to be able to come home at night and enjoy my kids and not worry. And the example you used of them growing, like my kids are growing and all I can think is I have to buy new shoes. And I don't want to think that. I want to just celebrate the growth of my kids and be able to be with them and be present with them, and to have my family be able to be present and enjoy our time together. So this is money, but it's also time, it's sleep, right? It's a night's rest. It's just relief. And so I'm very grateful, and I want to thank you all for the chance to share a bit about my experience, and also to thank Governor Hochul for the work that she's doing around these issues, fighting for families like mine. Thank you.
That concludes our program. Thank you for attending. We look forward to seeing you again.